Today is about metaphysics or metaphysica, and the video is called Reality of Nonsense. So don't get me too serious on the nonsense as in nonsense. Maybe it's nonsense to you, but it do mean something different. So first, what is metaphysics? It's philosophy, right? Most of the time, like metaphysics is usually described as part of philosophy. Let's not assume that it cannot be something else. Philosophy is the building of constructs that have an extrinsic worth, meaning the inner encompassing force, so that which is kind of bringing forth what is to become, force structures, meaning lays the groundwork for the intrinsic to itself, meaning the extrinsic, meaning the idea behind metaphysics or philosophy or whatever, of and for the extrinsic. So we have the intrinsic, the force that drives, to the extrinsic, the force that pulls and pushes. By encompassing force, the force structure it is, and this is the extrinsic worth. So in essence, philosophy, in my mind, what it's doing is building something that works on its own for knowledge. So it's knowledge that is not derived from empiricism, but it can be empiric. It's not really derived from experience, but it can be argued with by experience, and so forth. Meaning it's a type of knowledge that is based for science and scientific processes, or anything of the sort. Therefore, the philosophy is, as it's described, the father of size, meaning not size as in psi, but size as in S-I-E-S. For that is the one lie that is to be told to yourself, or to others, to become your real while being unreal. For example, if I drink a Coke, I tell myself it's a product. Well, it really isn't just a product. It has a lot of work in it. It's water. It's a structure. It's something that is a collection of ideas. So it really just isn't a product. It is in essence what I consume is a product, but the product that I do have in my hands, the Coke, is not just that. It's also part of a bigger fabric behind it. And it's funny because it's made in a fabric. Well, so meta, that which is the spatiate, separated by no connectivity to the sense, in exclamation marks, defines the forthcoming instruct, so the apex of idea and meaning. So what does this mean? It's the spatiate is what is not connected in the knowledge in your spirit, in yourself, in the real, in the unseen, and whatever, but is to the sense guided. So you can know that, you can feel that, whatever it is. So for example, if I walk the street and I have the feeling that that there is like rain coming, because from the glimpse of my eye I saw a black cloud but don't realize that I'm conscious, then the spaceit is which is separated by this non-connectivity but tells you're conscious, which is what I am also like fully aware of in my mind. Like I practice that to know these parts. So the spaceship for me is just a real thing that is connected with me and knows how I am and how I become, or what I am in the unseen, or in the real, or in the non-surreal, or in the severe, meaning the reality in my spirit and so forth, which is not the word severe usually means, but let's define it as such for this video. And that defines the forthcoming instruct, not the instructed, but the instruct, or to instruct also not meant, it's meant with a D, it's not a spelling mistake. I typed instruct because that word made the most sense to me to describe it, but then I realized instruct already is a verb, it already exists. So it's the apex of idea in a meaning. Meaning, if I have the idea of a lamp, like a lantern lamp, meaning stone, for example, that's glowing or anything like it. What is the instruct is that the lamp inside it, the light bulb, needs to be placed in such a way that the stone is fully illuminated. It's not the light bulb or the idea how the light bulb engulfs the stone, it's how it interacts with the rest of the forthcoming structure. And this combined with spatiate, what defines the instruct, is what basically meta means. So what is metaphysics? Metaphysics, therefore, in my mind, is the layer in the unseen to the surreal foreshadowing the manifested. So something that is not seen by other consciousness, so for example, not your things you consume, the way you act, your character, or even your sex, that's not what I mean. What I mean is the layer behind why you are the way you are, the unseen, and even more than that, the way you imagine yourself to what could become you or is not yet you, foreshadowing meaning, encompassing meaning, giving the possibility of reality to that which is what will it to be. So, reality of non-sense. Non-sense, the instinct is to what is acquired. Adequate. You can pronounce this word in many ways. It's, in my mind, I would pronounce it correctly as adequate. So, felt for in as part of conscious, meaning that word that I just made up. It's what you realize in a feeling to be part of your conscious, as a part of conscious, as knowing the parts of conscious, but not being that part of conscious, so the personality aspects to a degree. And the instinct behind that is what is the non-sense, so pretty easy actually. Reality is a conscious hallucination, like explained in the last video on Stiftus. So it's to the unmattered as divide of all us, spirit, soul. Meaning, reality is what you manifest into your life, into your experience, as something that is maybe real, but you first need to extract it. That's why you have, if you believe in that, the optical illusions. Your manifested and your viewed reality is hallucinated in a sense that your spirit makes it up. And that is to the unmattered, meaning that which is not your body or anything that is interacting with your body, as divide, meaning as part of a larger scale of different parts of you, of all our spirit soul, meaning of all that which is in the whole of that which your spirit is making you to be unreal while still being. So further, reality is this which is perspectivized in essence. Meaning, reality is a conscious hallucination, yes, to a degree, but it's also what perspective you put on it. That's how the subjective experience in my mind comes to a part to be real. It's like you see a certain perspective, and for that you have a kind of reality that differs even just in the experience from other people. But it's not because the experience is different. Like if I touch a cupboard, the experience is the same for everyone. The base of the emotion is the same, or the perception or the sense. But the perspective on a subjective experience is perspectivized in the sense that if I touch the cupboard or someone else touches the cupboard, you will have a different feeling. So reality of nonsense is the place in the surreal, calling the manifest to be revealed, meaning that whatever is causing the thing that is to be in your spirit or in your reality is in a certain aspect to be what is coming forth from the part of your conscious that senses that before. As said, I need to explain this. It's not about sex or gender or sexuality, really not. It's about this part of conscious, and I can prove that to myself by smoking the cigarette. I see how the filter will be on my lips before I smoke the cigarette. It's hallucinated into what will become, but you don't really realize that. You know that, but you don't really realize what your conscious is doing there. Like if I take a puff, my conscious imagined that, the cigarette and the smoke, before I even could inhale, exhale, or even interact with it. So it's the reality of nonsense is the place of your part of being in what is to be manifested while it is in existence, calling to what is to become, to be known by the rest of your spirit. So what does us mean? Well, I figured that this could be actually a nice word that could actually help people. I define it as or is in cause it's. So this is really a not a syntactical error. It is defined like this because like this you can understand the structure or how it is supposed to interact with structures. So for example, os can be used like my books and my beer on the shelf in the room, os to my perspective in view all that is my perspective. So that is like us would work in a really metaphysical sense. Let's make a more simple example. So for example, funny, a bottle of wine os no products in my room. Simple conjunct. Conjunct is the right word, I think. So use, possibly of sparking a part of itself to be, or of self to be. That's like right now we're talking about the reality of nonsense, not about us anymore. Us is just some conjunct that comes with it. So the possibility of sparking a part of self to be, meaning what I already explained with the surreal and unreal and the manifest and the unseen, to become what you desire for yourself to be, or what you choose, like in a character. If I go to a hill and take a walk in the forest and I decide to take a leaf and let it flow in the wind and grab it and then touch it to put it in the river, I decided for a certain idea that I want to choose my character with. So, therefore, it's a guiding creator. Yeah. And thus, it's unreal soul. So that's why I speak about this unreal, this unseen, this part of yourself, this whisper in a sense, meaning the unseen in a nonsensical way, or the reality of nonsense, is something that is not, but is existence or existent as in a soul. Yeah. So thank you for listening. I hope this video got something of the knowledge to your mind that I try to portray, we try to portray, and maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you should, if you want to understand it, watch the other videos. I have 2 channels. It's one time Stiftus, one time Philosophicals. Now this Pflaster, of course. It's a music project, but I also decided that there should be some videos and some knowledge, because I think I figured, thought that it might be helping people who listen to my music, or it even helps people who know the channel, or in essence that it really just is knowledge that should be known by the world. So thank you for listening. I wish you a nice day, a nice night, a nice, well, something. So, and as said, I mean the unseen, the reality that is not bound by time, in a sense. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Or, well, silent silence? I don't know. See ya.